Welcome back to Joellen's Kitchen. You know, sometimes you have something that seems like it's new and creative, and then you find out it's old-fashioned. When I go to a restaurant, a lot of times I will ask for raspberry vinaigrette on my salads. Well, I was going through my cookbook to see what we were going to make for our September Pennsylvania Dutch dish, and they had this little not hard, little easy direction on making what they called raspberry vinegar. In reality, it's raspberry vinaigrette. It's a sweet and sour, which makes perfect sense. The raspberries grew up around the fields, didn't cost anything to plant them. You just had to be there when they were ripe and beat the birds. So today we're going to make raspberry vinaigrette. Going to start with a large bowl. I use my one measuring cup that's as big as a bowl, and what we're going to do is first put in 2 pounds of raspberry. And what I found was little raspberry containers is like 30 ounces instead of 32, but close enough. So I'm going to put the raspberries into my bowl first. I did wash them, by the way. And number 5. Now, one of the things I want to caution you, when you buy the raspberries in the store, make sure you look all around that they're not moldy. They can go moldy, so we want to make sure that we don't have moldy raspberries. So that 2 pounds comes out to 8 cups or 2 quarts. So if you're picking them off your bush, you want 8 cups or 2 quarts of berries. And then you want to take, if you have the old-fashioned masher, that's good. Okay, again, 2 pounds of raspberries, which is equal to 8 cups or 2 quarts, depending what measurement you want to use. We need 2 cups of vinegar. And to that, an equal amount, 2 cups of sugar. Like I said, this is not a hard recipe at all. It does take time. But we're going to put this in here, turn my mixer. Whoa, it really goes. Okay, we have got now 8 cups of vinegar, sugar, and mashed raspberries. It'll get that pretty red color, as you can see. And we're going to pour this raspberry mixture into a nice pot that we can boil it in. And I'm going to transfer the camera over to my old cook stove. And we're going to bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for 20 minutes. Some of the juice is going to evaporate, so it should get a little bit thicker. And then after that, we're going to strain the berries so we have the juice for the raspberry vinaigrette. Okay, we're at my old cook stove. If it's your first time joining me, it is gas. It's the only stove I have. So we're going to turn on the main line. Start up the fire, turn on the handle there, and get the flame going. And I just turned it up all the way because we do want to boil this. It'll take a few minutes till it's boiling, and then we're going to let it simmer for 20 minutes. As you can see, the raspberries are just simmering. They're getting hot and seeping into the vinegar and sugar. You do want to stir this occasionally. Don't let it burn to the bottom because of the sugar in it. And again, you're going to let this simmer for 20 minutes. I should also mention that the ingredients tend to rise up and they want to cook over the top. So you make sure you're watching it carefully so you can turn down the heat enough so it does not go out over the top. And we're in about 15 minutes into the cooking right now. We have about 5 more to go. My lens is steaming up, but you can see the berries are really just seeds that are left, so we're going to have to get rid of those. They're cooking up as well. It should be pretty tasty. Okay, our raspberry vinaigrette is cooked for 20 minutes, and it's a little foamy on top, but it's pink as pink can be from the raspberries. I forgot to mention one thing about this bowl that I have. It's Pyrex, so it should withstand the heat. I'm going to, ideally you may want to wait till it cools down a little bit, but I think I'm going to try and do my first run of the strain through here while it's still pretty hot. Maybe I'll stop in the middle, I don't know. But the point is, I have this strainer, colander if you will. They're very cheap for a plastic one like this over at the dollar store. It actually says Betty Crocker on it. So I'm going to pour it in there, and then I just happen to have a second one, and I'm going to kind of push down and push them together so that if there's any berries left in there, that the juice squeezes out of them. So on the first one, I just want to get the bigger items out. And then on the second run, maybe we'll line it with some paper towels so that we catch all the seeds. And we'll just let it drip till it gets done dripping. Then, of course, cooling it, get your favorite salad, pour it on, and enjoy. So I think we're going to try here. Should pour towards you so you can see it coming out, huh? All poppy. I think the seeds that are caught in there will just leave in there. Why get them out, right? I think the reason it slowed down is because a lot of the seeds are clogging the exit holes, so it'll take longer to drain. I see little drips coming. I guess I could stir it a little. I was hoping to not push them all through, but that's certainly letting them through, but it's also letting the juice through. Well, we didn't add any water because the water came from the berries themselves. Normally, if you would make a sweet and sour dressing, you would have 1 cup of sugar or 2, and equal amounts of the vinegar and then equal amounts of the water. So if I would have been in 2 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar, and 2 cups of vinegar, would have been a base for a regular sweet and sour like you might use on a dandelion salad. However, and then of course there you would add some cornstarch to thicken it, but this, when I get raspberry vinaigrette, it doesn't say, it doesn't have a real thickness to it, and in fact it was called raspberry vinegar in the old Pennsylvania Dutch cookbooks. Well, we're slowly getting there. Got a lot of seeds in there. I don't know if you can see them rolling around in there or not. We'll see if my theory about pushing them down is a mistake. We can always just run it through again. Oh, they're pushing themselves up as well into the above versus just down. Oh, that's interesting. I think we're about there. The rest is the seeds. Oh yeah. Okay, here you can see all the raspberry seeds and the pulp. And I had squeezed it down some, but there's really no free-flowing juice anymore. It is what we want to basically pull aside to discard. And what we have here is a huge, looks like about between 4 and 5 cups of raspberry vinaigrette. However, I also see quite a few seeds in there yet, so I might dump the seeds that I have in this other one and run it through a second time. Okay, we got rid of the first round of seeds, and as I said, I'm going to strain it again to get out as many of those seeds as possible. This through again, see if we can capture any more, or if we're going to have to go, or if we should have gone rather quickly to the lined one with a paper towel to let it drip through. We'll find out shortly. Okay, we got another good catch of seeds, not as many as the first time, which is to be expected, but yeah, we got some more seeds, pulp, whatever. Okay, the third time, we're going to pour this back into the pan so I can pour from it. I freely admit that this is an experiment. I'm just going to line my colander. I don't have any of those really fine strainers. If you have one of those, you're ahead of the game. That will take care of it. They're like a wire mesh. I just don't have one, I don't think. So I'm going to pour this in. And we'll see how long it takes to drain through and catch the remaining seeds, hopefully. Oh yeah. It's dripping. It's just a real slow drip. Was to be expected that it slowed down. Okay, there's some seeds caught in the pan again. That's all good. So as you can see, it does take time, but it's not a real hard recipe at all. I hope you'll try it. I hope you'll like it. And happy Pennsylvania Dutch cooking. Okay, here's the finished product. In the end, until we got most of the seeds out of it, we had 3 cups of vinaigrette, or raspberry vinaigrette, I should say. So, get your favorite salad, whatever it is, and drizzle a little bit on there, and try it out. Those are just one of the things you can do with the raspberries you pick. Now that I mentioned strawberries, though, you could probably do it with strawberries or blackberries or other fruits. Raspberry vinaigrette, Pennsylvania Dutch way.